Hey guys, it's Hoops Convo, and today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Clippers and why I believe it's now or never next season. This is a franchise that's been in existence for 53 years, has the second lowest winning percentage ever, has 0 finals appearances and championships. There's a lot of people who believe the Clippers are cursed. It seems like whenever something good happens, it's followed by something bad. But we're not here to talk about the Clippers curse, we're here to talk about the current team and why this year is so important. Before we do that, we need to know full context, so let's rewind what happened 3 to 4 seasons ago. We'll start off with the 2018-2019 season, the year before they got Kawhi and Paul George. Going into that season, everyone thought they were going to be a lottery team. But instead, they were one of the surprises of that season, led by Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, Patrick Beverley, Danilo Gallinari, and a rookie SGA. They were a fun, deep team that played hard every night. That was their identity, which won a lot of Clippers fans over. And it was on full display during the 2019 NBA playoffs against the Warriors in Game 2, where they came back down 31 points, an NBA record.
The habits that you said, and right now with the turnovers, he's not happy with the Warriors play.
This is Lou Williams. Lou Williams knocks it down, and the game is played by Curry. An open shot. Shabbat able to knock it down. First lead for the Clippers since it was 12-11.
They were the best team in LA that year, and I feel like that played a huge part in why Kawhi picked them over the Lakers. Clippers showed good process that season and got rewarded by Kawhi, who signed in the offseason. They went from surprising the league as underdogs to championship contenders in months. Now on to the 2019-2020 season. To a lot of fans and experts, the Clippers were the favorites to win it all that year. Which isn't crazy to think because they had Kawhi and Paul George, who are 2 superstars, and they had the deepest team in the entire league. Watching games that year, they had all the talent, but they never seemed to find an identity. One week they'll look like the best team in the entire league, and the next week they'll look like the Western Conference version of the Sixers. They actually started to figure things out and played their best basketball before the COVID shutdown. This isn't an excuse, but I feel like the COVID shutdown really messed them up, more than other teams. They just couldn't find a true identity, and their chemistry was suspect from the start. Bad coaching, lack of identity, and chemistry played a huge part in what transpired in the bubble.
Murray trying to get it. Shot clock winding down. Murray puts up a 3. Bang! Jamal Murray from downtown. It's an 18-point lead. 36 for Murray. Jokic on the steal, ahead to Grant. 6-0 in elimination games here in the bubble. Much respect for the coaching staffs.
As many of you remember, they blew a 3-1 lead in embarrassing fashion to the Denver Nuggets, a team that should have never beaten them. It was one of the biggest upsets in recent memory. Now on to the 2021 season. They ended up replacing Doc Rivers with Tyronn Lue and marginally got better with the additions of Serge, Batum, and Kennard. This was supposed to be the season where they redeemed themselves for what happened in the bubble against the Nuggets. They weren't perfect because they still lacked a true point guard that can get their offense going, but they looked a lot more playoff friendly. They got past the Mavs in a tough 7-game series in round 1, then played the Jazz in round 2. The Jazz won the first 2 games at home, then the Clippers bounced back, but the huge headline was Kawhi's knee injury in Game 4, which kept him out the rest of the series. But this didn't slow down the Clippers as Paul George turned back the clock and helped lead the Clippers to their first ever conference finals. So they move on to the conference finals against the Phoenix Suns, played them really tight, but it just wasn't enough. I can confidently say if it wasn't for Kawhi's injury, this team most likely would have been in the finals. Just tough luck. On July 13th, it was announced Kawhi had ACL surgery, a huge blow for the Clippers the following season. Now this past season was tricky because they were expected to be a decent playoff team, but not a real championship threat. Kawhi was expected to be out the whole season, and Paul George also missed significant time. And even still then, they finished as the 8th seed going 42-40 with the others stepping up and Tyronn Lue showing you why he's a top 5 head coach. Their season ended in tough losses to the Timberwolves and Pelicans in the play-in games, but overall, they should be proud of what they did. This is definitely something the Clippers can build off. Which leads me to my last point in saying this upcoming season definitely feels like a make or break year for the Clippers. Kawhi needs to show that he could still be a top 5 player after the ACL surgery, and Paul George needs to continue showing that he could be a top 10 to 15 player. These guys have arguably the deepest roster in the entire NBA from 1 to 15. Kawhi, George, Wall, Jackson, Kennard, Powell, Batum, Covington, Morris, Mann. The list goes on and on. The Wall signing is interesting because it's a low risk, high reward type move. It's similar to the Batum deal from 2 years ago, where a lot of people thought he was washed, but he ended up being a surprising contributor. But anyways, as I was saying, I think it's time the Clippers put it all together and finally get over the hump. With the league so balanced today, there's no better time. Like we've seen the Lakers win in 2020, the Bucks win last year, and recently the Warriors, they pulled it off. Championship windows are very small. I know the casual NBA fan doesn't think so, but they don't last very long. From a talent and coaching perspective, the Clippers have everything it takes to make history next season. The last time Kawhi missed a full year and came back, we all saw what happened. So do you guys agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It helps out the channel for more future content. And like I always say, we're called Hoops Convo for a reason. Thanks and take care.